Oh, I didn't think this part through. Oh, it's fucking tangled. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hello. My name's Randy, also known as Randy First Dates Only Devlin, also known as Randy the One-Hit Blunder Devlin. If you're not new here, and you've seen a couple of my videos before, you'll know this is not what I usually do. I'm usually, well, you know, I usually have a guitar and like maybe a microphone, which that's here. The microphone is still here, so you got that to look forward to. But I just watched You season 3 on Netflix. It was pretty good. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. This is so fucking stupid. Obviously, I'm kidding. That's not the end of the video. I do have more to say. I wrote out a script. So, we're just going to get right into it. By the way, spoilers. Spoilers. Big spoilers. I'm going to be spoiling the season. If you haven't seen the show yet, go watch it. If you have seen the show yet, or if you just really care about hearing literally some dude talk about it on the internet, then just keep watching. I'm going to be focusing on a couple individual elements of the characters, like 5 individual sections of the characters, and we're just going to go from there. First section, you're going to love this one. You're going to love it. Joe. And then I'm going to put a picture of Joe Swanson on screen. It's going to be really funny. Joe kind of doesn't go anywhere. I mean, he starts to, right? Because he starts to go somewhere. Let's say in the first season, he was just a fucking creepy guy. He was weird. He kind of sucked pretty bad. I mean, he made some really shitty choices, and he killed a bunch of people. Fucking surprise, surprise. Like that's the main draw of the series, is that he is a murderer. That's just what he does, except he doesn't like doing it. It's like, oh, he kills people, but he doesn't like the fact that he kills people, so he's like a relatable character. It's actually really cool. Over the second season, you know, he meets Love. He meets Love Quinn and decides to stop killing people. At least he tries to. He doesn't want to kill people anymore. Then, you know, he finds himself back into his old habits. He kills people. He kills Chris D'Elia, which is fucking hilarious. I love the fact that he did it. It was just a really good plot line. And he gets to, you know, the end of the season, and him and Love are fighting, and then he puts the knife to Love's neck, and she's like, I'm pregnant, you know? So he's like, fuck, now I gotta start a family and fucking not kill people. So that's kind of where we start in this season, and we see throughout the season Joe making a genuine attempt to not kill anybody. He starts out just going through therapy with Love, couples therapy specifically, and they're hiding the fact that they killed Natalie, but like they're going through therapy. We actually see a little bit of character development there, like a little bit of like push, like he starts to grow a little bit, a little flower, a Joe flower, if you will. We see a little bit of growth, and he starts to sort of understand like, hey, things that happened to me in the past are having an effect on the way I act now in the future. In the present. Then, like, halfway through the season, he just kind of forgets about it. Like Marianne comes in, and it's like everything that happened in season 2 and season 1 that taught him to change and be different just didn't happen. And it's weird because they sort of, they hint at it so much. They hint at, all right, I'm done killing anyone. I'm going to be the perfect husband. I'm going to be the perfect father. I'm going to fucking conquer some of my issues. And then Marianne comes along and he's like, fuck that. It's great for a show that has a season every year or every 2 years or however it works out. You know, it's fantastic for a show that just wants to come back, tell a similar story every year and not move anywhere. But it's not so great when you have a drama with characters that should grow and evolve. It's not great when you have a seasons long story, you know, more of a serial versus an episodic show. And we get a little bit of that, and it's I want to say it's tantalizing almost. It's just so like, yeah, you know, like fucking grow, be someone different, but then he doesn't. He just doesn't. I don't know. That was a little disappointing. People have different tastes and like different things, whatever. And Penn Badgley did a fantastic job. That's another thing. Another point on my cute little bullet point list right here. He did a great job. Really, a lot of what he has to do is just talk under his breath a little bit and grumble about this, that, and the other, and be very methodical about the way he does things. And he does a great job. You know, he shows those brief moments of passion expertly. It's just an explosion. It's like a sudden holy fuck, you know? And then he sort of comes back down to it, and he's back in his right mind, and he's very just on the nose, straightforward about what he does. Really, really good. It was great. One thing I wanted to see more from Joe, and I really would have liked to see more, that would be more of him in the woods with Carrie, right? So Carrie, and in connection to Carrie is Sherry, Conrad, they were great. They were really, really cool as a character foil almost, showcasing Joe's stunted masculinity, and Sherry is showcasing Love's desire to be seen and to be heard. But both in both Carrie and Sherry, both are cranked up to just these toxic levels of like, it makes you just feel gross when you see these two people. I don't know, but I wanted to see more of Joe during the boys' night. Like, it was fun to see boys supporting boys, even if it was weird. I wanted to see more of how the interaction with Carrie made him feel. I wanted to see how he processed that whole situation. I wanted to see how he could have taken what he learned and moved forward with it. But then, you know, you see the story that's laid out in front of us and the story that we have, and you realize, did Joe really feel any of what happened? Did he actually feel like he was being accepted by those guys and just start bawling because he was just so emotionally overwrought in that moment? Or was he kind of just faking it, right? Because at this point, we know Joe is really checking out from his marriage with Love. He's like, nah. It makes me wonder, you know, could he just have faked it all so that he could further his ploy to make Love happy and reconnect with her while he was still vying for it, at least trying to vie for it. You know, that's one thing I wonder. Another thing I wanted to mention, again, from my handy-dandy little list of bullet points, the intro to this season kind of sets it up as if it's going to be, I don't want to say the word sitcom because that has a bit of a bad connotation with it, you know, it's just a wacky, zany adventure with a bunch of zany people. No, it kind of seems like it's going to be a sitcom murder couple where Love and Joe are going to be side by side dealing with murders. They are just two normal people living in the suburbs of California, but they can't stop committing murders. Okay, the sequence with Gil, where they were trying to figure out what to do with him, and Joe was interrogating him a little bit about what possibly could have happened in his past that would be dirt to use on him. You know, that was awesome, seeing both of their tactics and their ways to dig up dirt on people work in tandem. You know, Love having Cy and Joe having his history of stalking, working together like that was cool. And I almost would have liked to see like a Monster of the Week kind of show, or a Murder of the Week, where they both have to, oh fuck, we accidentally killed this guy. How are we going to get ourselves out of this one? It's okay. It's fine. I'm fine with it, but I would have liked to see more of it. What else did I have written here? To the contrary of what I just said earlier, I do like the fact that they are actively showing the effect that these murders have on the people around them, right? Look at Matthew. Matthew, pretty normal guy, distant from his son, but he God damn it. Matthew was shown being visibly affected by the murder of Natalie, and Gil's wife was shown being visibly affected by the murder of Gil. in the sequence where Joe is having his little measles fever dream, is clearly incredibly distraught over the murder of his wife. And Joe, again, as part of that character growth that could have gone further and stayed throughout the show, Joe realizes, like, fuck, man, I'm not going to frame this guy. He's just some dude who lost his wife, and I happen to be implicit in the murder. But Joe does not frame him. And then we see Joe go back and doing dumb shit later. We see these people actually dealing with the things that have happened around them in this town that is supposed to be so fake and oversaturated with people. I don't know. That's just, a thought that I had. Oh, another point. Very important. Why did Joe give Henry to Dante? I get it. I mean, clearly Dante and his boyfriend were very good friends to Joe. Like, clearly they were a huge help in the whole thing. They were very supportive and very like, yeah, man, whatever, dude, we'll watch your baby. We got you covered, bro. But like, we don't see enough of Dante to justify Joe just, here's my kid. We see Dante in a few scenes, mostly interacting with Marianne, and that's it. Like, that's all we get. And I wish we could have gotten more of Joe interacting with Dante and solidifying that relationship a little bit more. Because at the end, he is dropping the baby on the doorstep, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's giving it to Matthew or like Marianne. I don't know why I thought it was either of those people. Clearly it wouldn't be Marianne because she fucking left when Love had him paralyzed on the floor. Like, she was like, nah, dude, he lied to me, bro. Fuck that. Then I thought Matthew, and for some reason in my head at that point, I had thought Theo had died. And I was like, well, fuck, that's bad. Theo wasn't dead. And also, he didn't give the baby to Matthew. I understand that there weren't very many people Joe could have given the baby to. Like, that makes sense. But maybe he could have kept the kid. Serial killer baby? Huh? Up next, back to Theo and Matthew. Theo, he was pretty fucking weird. Like, I did not enjoy his character whatsoever. His constant, like, insinuations to Love about wanting to have sex with her, and like his just completely douchey behavior was written off a little bit because he's like, oh, it's just a cute little 19-year-old and he doesn't know any better. He should know better. That was weird. I thought it was weird. I didn't like it. Whatever. It's also kind of weird how there's an age gap there. There's a pretty big age gap. I don't remember how old Love is exactly, but they keep referring to him as a kid and as a teen, and that just makes me feel weird. I don't know if I like that. It wasn't terrible. A friend of mine mentioned that he had seemed like a very mature 19-year-old, and I didn't really get that. I saw a kid who was completely lost without a typical family structure, right? Like, he did not like his mom whatsoever. His dad was pretty absent. Even though he lived with him, he was just not very much there. His dad was not there, and that clearly affected him negatively because he is drawn to Love, because Love wants to provide something to him. She wants to help him. It starts out as just, hey, I see a kid who's a little bit lost, and I want to give him a hand. I want to get him an Uber every now and again or whatever. But, like, eventually, it obviously becomes a lot more than just that, and that's kind of weird. Because of Theo's dad, Matthew, being that neglecting and absent kind of father, Love starts to become a more parental figure in his life. And that just goes fucking wonky. At the end of the show, I thought it was kind of fucked up how he listened to everything Love had to say and was like just about ready to believe her. I mean, obviously he was terrified. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what Love was capable of. He was dead set on getting Joe locked up in prison because he was abusive and a murderer. But like, just fucking dude, have some self-preservation, like, just fucking take care of yourself, man. When you hear a woman say that she just fucking killed someone because her husband was cheating with that someone that she happened to kill, and she's got 2 people locked up in the basement, like, just fucking, Get out of there, man. Call the cops. Nobody wants that shit. That shit fucking sucks. As if I'm speaking from experience. Matthew, I really, really liked him. I liked what he had to offer. I liked his part in the series. I liked the fact that he, doesn't talk to the press and then decides to say a little bit of something because he realizes if I don't fucking say something, people are going to think I murdered my wife? What? He kind of felt like a non-character. We get this whole arc, right? Like, Matthew starts out as just a figure in the background, like poof, just Matthew. And then over time, he starts to develop into these darker tendencies. He's not sleeping as much. He's not eating. He looks like absolute dog shit. He's obsessively combing over this footage. And then he just kind of gives up because his boss told him to. Like fucking what? I thought that the show was building towards a centralized antagonist, that it was like, okay, we're gonna, Matthew, maybe he uses his tech powers to keep an eye on Joe, like, in the past and in other fucking cities, because he can access the whole camera grid for the city that he lives in, just for funsies. No, he just gives up. And then later, when Joe is fucking just goddamn knocked out by that toxin, Matthew comes in, sees Joe on the floor, and he's like, "You killed my wife as well, and your wife is the one who did it, and you're complicit, and I should probably kill you." And then he just fucking doesn't. He does nothing. He just goes home to go check on Theo, which I guess, okay, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. You need to go care for your fucking son who's in the hospital. Fine. Fuck, dude. Love. Holy fuck. Victoria Pendretti fucking kicked all kinds of ass. It was really, really cool watching her go from this completely unsure and uncomfortable and unknowing housewife to literally like an emotionally numb fucking force whirlwind to be reckoned with. Like, she went from this woman who was completely lost. She had just had a kid, just married a man, and just moved to a new suburb, and then like after just getting battered down, she realized, I've got a husband, and I'm gonna keep him no matter what. And that was fucking awesome. I loved every single bit of that. The whole plot line with her mom was cool. I enjoyed how her mom was very clearly just siphoning off of the fact that she was friends with Sherry and got to know Sherry and was very close with her and like using her for her clicks and her publicity, her clicks and her publicity. I really, really enjoyed that. Contrary to Love, where there was this descent into absolute apathy, Dottie just sort of snapped. There wasn't much of a build-up. There was the hearing for the divorce, and then the vineyard was burnt down. It was really, really, I don't want to say I enjoyed the fact that the baby got stolen, but I enjoyed the fact that the baby got stolen because that shows, hey, I'm trying to capture something I never had. A, I want my dead son 40 back. B, I just want to have a normal functional family that she was not able or capable to provide. That was really, really cool. But like, it just jumped from point A to point B. And I don't know, maybe I'm missing something from the second season. It's been a long time since I watched it, but maybe I'm missing something from the second season that was, part of that build up and it kept going. But I don't know. It was just like, I might be nitpicking, but there was a lot of time skipped. I wish we could have seen more of what happened when she stole Henry. Well, not stole, but like she stole Henry. Bringing back 40 as Love's drunk ghost conscience was awesome. Seeing, what the fuck is that guy's name? James Scully. Seeing James Scully play him again was great. I really, really liked 40 as a character just for how raw he was and how he was integral to like the murder mystery kind of plot of the last season. I almost wish that his sequence was more like whacked out like the drug episode was. It was Joe was just seeing all kinds of shit and he was fucked off his ass. And I wish almost that Love sequence had been the same way. The shot of him being in the bed and then not in the bed was fucking awesome. And that kind of speaks to something that I've thought about quite a bit. Like people believe in ghosts, right? Like you might believe in ghosts. I don't know if you believe in ghosts, but you might. I've always thought that what we think of as ghosts is more so just like patterns and memories and like the essence of a person, and seeing that essence of a person like fucking disappear made me think, oh, you know, Love is definitely changing. She is going through something. I would argue that Love actually had the most character growth this season, which is weird. It relates back to what I said earlier, where Joe doesn't really grow all that much. He just is a weird, creepy guy in the first season, and then in the this last season, he's still a weird, creepy guy, but now he wants to date Marianne. But we have Love, who starts off as the lost woman trying to protect her little brother, or her twin brother, excuse me, the lost woman trying to protect her twin brother from a predatory adult, and turns into this just like completely blank, numb murder machine. And it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved every aspect of that. And seeing Victoria Pendretti pull all that off was great. It was really, really cool. Fucking sweaty! Finally, we come to Marianne. Fucking awesome. I loved every scene with her and Joe even. It seemed like they really meshed really well together. And she was kind of the answer to all of Joe's problems. And her reaction to finding out everything about him was just so very natural. It was exactly how I think that character would have reacted. Her story and her incredibly forward attitude about the disproportionate amount of support for white women and for the media loving Ryan Goodwin but not exactly loving her, and the justice system preferring Ryan Goodwin. It was just wow. Oh, it was so fucking good. I genuinely love it when TV throws that shit right at us, right? Like, there is a problem in this country, and this show just steps right up to the plate and says, hey, there's a fucking problem in this country. Like, fix it. We need to do something about it, because these fantastic people are being put down by a system and by media that just does not support them whatsoever, and it's... Fucking fix it! America, get your shit together and fix your fucking country. And last but not least, I just have a couple random thoughts. I really want to see more of Love as like a ghost haunting Joe. That would be really, really cool. Carrie was 100% a caveman, and he was really well cast to be a caveman. Was Natalie like just a plot device? Because that's kind of how it feels, and that kind of sucks. I would have liked to see more maybe of her relationship with Matthew and like how she feels about having Theo, because I completely forgot that Theo and Natalie were like related, you know, their mother and son, but I just completely fucking forgot about that. When Love knocked on the door to give Theo and Matthew cupcakes, I thought for a second, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then I remembered, oh shit, he's the creepy teenager we just met. I would have liked to see more connection there. I really wanted to see Love go off on everybody in town, and we got a little bit of that at the end of the series. I really liked it. But I wanted to see more of it. I wanted to see her just fucking rail through Sherry for being a fake and obsessive and manipulative person. And I wanted to see her rail through all of Sherry's friends for just being fucking shitty. What happened to the vital rings? Right? Like, they're brought up at the start of the story when someone says, oh yeah, we all wear them so that we know how we feel or whatever. I think it's Carrie who brings it up when he's talking about his kids. He's like, we all wear them. And then they're just never brought back up. You know, like, what if when Sherry and Carrie are sitting in the cage, like, Matthew's just like, well, I guess, you know, because he wouldn't have reason to suspect that anything happened to them. So I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I just feel like they could have been used more, because those were, like, easily just a 100% foil to everything Joe in Love had planned. They could have just ruined it all. But then they just sort of disappeared. Like they weren't even there in the first place, and almost made completely no difference, because, like, the detective, she's stoked because they find the ring. She's like, yeah, we got this ring. And then nothing happens with it. Joe and Love go to find the ring, and then nothing happens with it. It just felt like it was a very unimportant part of the plot. I don't know. So, altogether, how was it? How was season 3 of You? It's pretty good. I liked it. Yeah, I dug it. I was into it. It's pretty good. Very cool. Very neat. Very neat. Very cool. There were a couple things I would have wanted to see more of. A couple things I would have wanted to explore more. But all in all, you know, for a nice sit down and binge watch and get through the dramatic parts of the story, you really can't ask for anything more. I think if I had to give this an arbitrary rating system or scale or number of some sort, I would stick with the tried and true 0 to 10, because that just seems to be very, very useful. I would go ahead and give this one like a 7.5, 8-ish. I don't know. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. I fucking stopped playing video games so I could watch it. But it wasn't record-breaking. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't a blockbuster. And not everything has to be a blockbuster. There's nothing wrong with having a movie that's just a pretty good fucking movie, having a show that's just enjoyable to watch, right? I don't need all of the big shit like in Marvel movies, which are fun. I watch them. You know, I get my popcorn, I get my little bowl, and I just sit there and I'm pretty good content. But not everything has to be that way. It just has to be something you can enjoy. And I think at the end of the day, every season of this show, it's just something pretty good. I need to buy a new pop filter for my microphone. Mine broke, and I'm using the bag. You like that sound? You like that sound? Good! Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like I said, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. You know, I usually do music stuff, but I figured I'd try and end the crippling monotony that I feel on a day-to-day basis a little bit and do something different just for myself, just to sit down and have a chat to a bunch of strangers on the internet, because I can. If you're, you know, an oldie but a goldie, if you're an OG, if you know the channel, I really hope you enjoy this. I know it's not the usual thing that I do, but if you're here, and I appreciate you watching. If you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you watching. Let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts about this sort of format, or this, if you have any comments about the show, if you disagree with anything I said or agree with anything I said. You know, let's start a discussion, start a rapport, just make it cool. Have fun. Thank you for watching. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day or night whenever you watch this. I hope things are going well for you right now, and I hope things look up for you soon if they're not. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do for me. And always remember, that's how TV goes, kids.